Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bookcraft Podcast, conversations from every side of the story. I'm your host, Colleen, debut author, serial entrepreneur, reading and writing retreat host, merch expert. Just kidding. I do like making merch, but I don't think I'm an expert at this point. I did an author notes podcast last week, and I was going to do an interview this week, but I'm traveling and I'm actually away for another 4 weeks. So it's been a little bit challenging to organize guests for the podcast, but that's okay because I had a whole bunch of sort of author's notes, things that are interesting for readers to know about the publishing, writing process, and things that my fellow authors may or may not know. This could be something that helps you out. So I wanted to jump on, do a short episode this week just with some author notes. My first book, The Undercurrents of Love in the Lagoon Chronicles series, is out in the world, and it was only available up until, look at my watch here, 1 week ago. It was only available on Amazon KDP, Kindle Unlimited, my website. So if you're looking for like online, in person, I have it at a couple bookstores. Thank you to those lovely bookstores. Shout out Audrey's Next Chapter. Thank you for carrying my book. But for online presence, it was very narrow. And here's the first point that I kind of wanted to talk about. And part of this was I was listening to the Kobo podcast because I just recently talked last week that I was trying to work towards getting my book onto these other sites. And I now have my book on Kobo, listed in all the countries where you can get Kobo. Kobo also is partnered with some of the library apps as well. So the opportunity to have the book available for libraries. And then I started working on getting my book into Draft2Digital, which would then get me onto things like Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, some of the other library apps, Cloud Library, Hoopla, and all of these other opportunities, plus the biggest one being bookshop.org, which supplies books to indie stores. Now, I need to break things down here a little bit so that it's not confusing, because being an indie author, doing everything yourself, there's already so many hats that you wear. But here is just my own opinion with my own experience as a Canadian author. If you're a US author, this might not apply to you at all. You can move along, but maybe it does apply to you. I have one book out in my series. My book came out in November. I put it up on Amazon because, you listen to all the people, and they tell you, the people, I'll just call them the people, got to have your book on Amazon. It's got to be in KU, the Kindle Unlimited exclusive contract. So when I say exclusive contract, if you have your ebook in Kindle Unlimited, you can have your ebook nowhere else. And I thought, well, obviously, this is what I'll do. Amazon has millions of readers, but your discoverability on Amazon is nil. Unless you are doing paid ads, very hard to get discovered. If people do reviews, that helps. So everybody that's done a review, thank you. Everybody that's read the book, please do a review for me. Because there's no other way. Readers don't have trust in a book that doesn't have a lot of reviews. They don't have trust in a book that they aren't seeing, advertised. And as a debut author, is really hard. So the first piece of the puzzle is the advice that many new authors, debut authors, indie authors are given. Just put your book up in Amazon, put it in KU, you'll be fine. People will find you. It's not the case. And I think it's doubly so not the case when you are a Canadian author. You might be like, well, how would people understand, where you're at? And they do. They know. People know. I had a flurry of activity when the book was first put out because I'd done a Goodreads giveaway. So that got a lot of eyes on the book. A lot of people added the book to their want to read list. I'm still on more than 1,000 want to read lists, but at the height of the giveaway, I was on more like 1,600-ish, and now it's down to about 1,100. So still a fair amount. A flurry of activity when the book came out, lots of orders on Amazon, both print and ebook, so both. That was fantastic. But page reads in Kindle Unlimited, very few. Very, very few. And there's a few reasons for that. Again, it is my first book. It's the first book in a series. I did a little poll on my TikTok, and people were like, I'm waiting until there's more books out, or I know the books are going to be coming out quickly, or the whole series is complete. And I completely understand that because I am also that kind of reader. When I'm starting a new series, I really kind of want more than one book out so I can kind of binge it. Some of my favorite series are like the Louise Penny Inspector Gamache series. There's 21 books in that series now. I think I'm on book 7. I'm taking my time with them. Kathy Reichs, I've read all of hers except for the last book. Couldn't. Sorry, Kathy Reichs. You're an amazing author, but you decided to do a book about animal cruelty. I cannot read it. So I'm going to have to miss what happens. But dear God, if you killed the cat Birdie off, I'm going to have a real problem with that. So for me, as a Canadian author, I looked at my KU, my Kindle Unlimited, my exclusive contract that lets me be nowhere else, and I said, it's not worth it. Now, here is a caution. If you decide you're going to take your book out of Kindle Unlimited to put it into Kobo or Barnes & Noble or any of these other places, don't then decide later that you're going to put your book back into Kindle Unlimited and take it out of all of those ecosystems, because then your reader is going to be very distrustful of you. They're going to be like, well, the book was available over on Kobo, but now it's not. The book was available on Barnes & Noble, but now it's not. And your Kindle Unlimited readers are going to get frustrated if your book is in, out, in, out. So when you're in Kindle Unlimited, you need to do a 90-day contract. So for me, the second my 90-day contract was up, I was out because it wasn't worth it to me. Now, people that have already gotten my book through Kindle Unlimited, they can still read it. I just noticed the other day I had a whole bunch of page reads for my book in Kindle Unlimited, and that's because somebody got it from Kindle before I'd taken it out, and they're just getting around to reading it now. The second thing is this sort of advice from the people. I'm just going to call them the people. And the advice is don't go wide. Don't go wide. So going wide means having your book available in multiple places. So it's not just on Amazon. It's on Kobo and Barnes & Noble and Overdrive and Libby and Cloud Library and Hoopla and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't do that because you'll dilute your author brand because you're in too many places and nobody can find you. There is a valid point there that it is hard to find people, but as a debut author, it's already hard to find me. Like, I'm a one-woman show doing all of the stuff and marketing slog. I am slogging through the marketing. It is so challenging for me to be like, please read my book. It's very good. I wrote it. Like, it's hard. So I'm already at a disadvantage there. I could pay for Amazon ads for sure. I could pay for a big BookBub thing for sure. But at this point, it doesn't make sense. So that's my third point. The first one is just put yourself in Kindle Unlimited and Kindle and KDP and all that. Second one is don't go wide. Third one is we'll just pay for ads. At this point, doing a boost of a Facebook post maybe for a couple bucks maybe makes sense. Spending thousands of dollars to get a BookBub feature. BookBub is a company that sends daily emails out to people. So you sign up for the email list, it sends you the emails. Here's your ebooks for the day. And then through Chirp, here's your audiobooks for the day. And, people love to get these lists and they get to see the new books and it's great. It doesn't make sense for me right now. Once I have 3 books out, then it might make more sense for me because then I could start people off with the first book in my series. I could do it as a discounted price to get people in and then hopefully get read through for the series. But for right now, it does not make sense. The fourth thing was, I'm very excited about putting the book on Draft2Digital. I'm very excited about having it there, but I've hit some snags. And the Draft2Digital team has been fantastic. They've answered my questions right away. But in case you are an author out there and you had a problem and you got all these codes and numbers and letters and it was like error and you're like, what the ever loving F is this? My specific issue was I had used a company that I very much liked using their service, BookBrush. They create amazing templates for authors. And I love using them because I can do instant mock-ups. I can do all these author-centric posts with beautiful graphics with my book. It's created by authors. The person that created BookBrush, she does amazing videos. She's like got this really supportive community. So I love the product. So I created inside my book, I created pages that were graphics for 3 years before the event, 1 year before the event, 6 months before the event, and I created these graphics. They were in a .png file, but when I uploaded it to Draft2Digital, they all got flagged as embedded improperly. So it was really interesting to me because I was like, what the heck? Because I've already put my book on Kobo and KDP and BookFunnel and BookVault, and I've got it on all these other places, and I didn't have an issue. So kind of dispelling it down and trying to figure out what the heck is going on, I reached out to Draft2Digital support. They were like, maybe contact Reedsy. Reedsy was like, why are you talking to us? We have nothing to do with this. I was like, okay, sir, sorry. I contacted the company that I used to write and format my book, which is Atticus. They got back to me immediately. It was incredible customer service. And they said, your graphics, your images that you have put into your book, something is up with the file extension. And they're like, don't worry, you can fix it really easily. And the fix was, so if this happens to you, there was 2 fixes. One, just re-upload the same thing from your original, so if I had a picture 3 years before, so just take that 3 years before, delete it off of your formatting, re-upload it. Didn't work. Second option that they gave me was take that .png file, upload it to Canva, save it as a .png, put it back in your book, send it back to Draft2Digital, and that worked. So I messaged Draft2Digital because I was like, hey, this might be something that comes up for somebody else, and it's some information. And they were like, oh, wow, thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. We had no idea. And I don't think it's oh, you're doing something wrong with your book. It was just simply that when the book goes through the EPUB validation process, it said no. The computer said no. So the fix took me longer than I wanted, but learning curve, I know for next time. While I love making the graphics in BookBrush, I love that BookBrush is compatible with Atticus. They actually have Atticus templates right in their stuff. If I'm putting my stuff on Draft2Digital, I need to save them in Canva. Okay? Put them back. So that was just a little... It's one of those things where you end up spending time doing something where you're like, I really don't want to be doing this because I already did this. Fine. The last sort of point on that was, and this is another learning curve thing, in your Draft2Digital, Apple Books gets super cranky if you have what they consider competitor links in your book. So as an author, I need to do as much advertising as possible. I got to tell you all the things. So in the back matter, the back of my book, the last page, I have a little thank you for reading my book. Please give me a review because it helps me to sell more books. It helps me become discoverable. It helps me with, getting my book into the readers' hands that are going to enjoy this book. So I have links to do reviews on Amazon America, Amazon Canada, Goodreads, Storygraph. So those 4. Apple Books says, hell no. you've got a link to sell your book on Amazon. And I'm like, no, it's the link to do the review. They don't care. It's a link to Amazon. It's got to go. So I was like, oh. And then in my the blurb, it says, what does it say? Buy into, it's something like buy into the Lagoon Chronicles series. And it got flagged as a buy now, like a buy more type thing. I was like, no. So I put step into. But now, so what I need to do is I'm going to do this today. Again, the Draft2Digital people have been fantastic. And they were like, hey, we're going to do this for you because this is an issue that we kind of didn't foresee. So we're going to help you out with this. I need to go into my formatting and basically hide that page. I don't really want to have to do that because I want people to leave me reviews for the love of everything holy. If you love the book, please put a review up. I know I've said this a million times already tonight, but it really is important. And it's like I feel like I'm, just beating the carpet and trying to get all the dust out and, hope some reviews fall out at the same time. But I thought that was really kind of an interesting, it's not something I would have ever thought of as an issue, but Apple Books was very adamant. I actually delisted Apple Books as an option for right now until I can figure out how to go in and fix it, but it's kind of annoying. So the last little bit on the Draft2Digital is because of those two issues, I'm uploading my book as a print on demand book. So for all of these different companies, Barnes and Noble, bookshop.org, and there's two other ones that have like storefront, like digital storefronts that you could buy books from. Like you would buy a book from Amazon prints it, send it to you. So I'm listing my book as a print book as well, but I have to make sure that I click the little thing that says no return, so that if a bookstore orders a bunch of my books and they think that they're going to return it and I'm going to pay for it, I am not. That is a hard pass. Hell no. I don't think so, ma'am. Thank you very much. So that's kind of interesting. All of this is to say that taking my book wide has been a bigger, more involved process than even I thought. I knew it was going to be work, but I wasn't really sure how much work it was going to be. So it has become quite a bit of work, but in the long run, I think it is going to be very well worth it, because when I'm looking at the royalties and the payouts, it's pretty on par with what I would get paid from Amazon. I also, because I've listed my ebook on my own site, what I'm going to be able to do eventually is do book bundles where I'll be able to bundle my physical book, my ebook. I'll be able to do all of these things on my own website. And speaking about my own website, I am, really trying to build that newsletter because, I'll put this video up on YouTube. I'll put the podcast up on the podcast site, but there is nothing to say that something couldn't happen and I couldn't be delisted off of YouTube for some reason. There's nothing to say that I couldn't lose my Instagram account. I have lost an Instagram account before. It was over 10,000 people. Let me tell you how sad I was about that. But I'm really trying to build up my newsletter. And so I'm starting to think about things that, as the next books come out, that I'll be able to do as little extras and little things for my newsletter people. One of the things that my newsletter people, all my subscribers, got to learn about the other day is that the first international reading retreat that I'm going to do is coming up. So they got to find out a little bit about that. And I'm going to talk more about that at a later date. But let me just say that it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a very cool location. And it's a location that I actually know. And the difference between me doing a reading retreat somewhere compared to the famous people doing retreats is that I actually have a connection to where we're going. I actually still live there. I still know people there. Whereas, and no shade on these other people that do them. I mean, they're doing their thing. But it's funny because many of them, because I did like an analysis, many of them are using third-party companies to basically plan the whole thing, and that's totally fine. I'm using actual friends to help me with all the planning. So the location will be announced soon. It will be May 2027. So just kind of maybe look at your calendar and say, I should plan to go somewhere with Colleen in May 2027. So lots of stuff happening this week. I got the first draft back of my cover for my new book. That was very exciting. I finished the first draft of the book, and I finished the first rounds of edits for the book. I have been staying up late every single night doing edits. I was up till midnight last night. I'm teaching right now, so every coffee break, every lunch break, I am working on my book like crazy. So now I got to go through, and I realized as I was doing the first set of edits that I forgot a couple things. So there would be a lot of confusion as to how did that character get there, because I kind of forgot to write it. In my head, I wrote it, but I didn't actually write it on the, actual document. So I'm going to go through all the edits tonight and just finalize what I need to do. I'm really, again, you guys are holding me accountable here. And that's why I keep telling people about the process of the book, because I really do want the book to be out. I want it in your hands. I want it in your hands in April. That's the goal. So the cover design, first design came in. It's gorgeous. It's the exact color scheme that I wanted. Oh my goodness. I would show you right now, but that would be rude. So I'm not going to. But it's absolutely stunning. So lots of movement on the second book front. I have a writing retreat coming up in April. I have one spot left for that. I have a reading retreat in May. I have some spots left for that. And honestly, it's just a lot of, trying to, move this author business forward. So amazing things are happening. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to tell you. I am looking at doing more stuff with BookFunnel. So right now, BookFunnel distributes my ebook from my website to the people. So I'm looking at doing a few more things with them as well. All in all, I think as a reader, maybe this is interesting to see all the work that goes into just getting your book out there into all the different spaces and platforms. Listening to the Kobo writing podcast has been amazing, because they have so many amazing tips and tricks for authors that I'm listening to it while I'm driving, because I have a big drive every day, and I'm like, oh, I want to be taking notes while I'm listening to this. So that's been really eye-opening. And that was where, this don't put your book into KU, take it out, put it in, take it out, put it in, put it on other platforms. And because you create readers that don't trust you. And I don't want that. I want readers to trust me. I want readers to, when they think about me, they think about these lovely books and these amazing characters and all that wonderful stuff. So I think that's all I have for this week. It's a little bit of a long author's notes, but I have a feeling that some of you are going to get some good value from some of these tips. And maybe you had a problem uploading your book to Draft2Digital, and maybe it was simply one of the images in your book was uploaded and something was corrupted with the file. Could be. I do, again, Draft2Digital, thank you for the help. Atticus, thank you for the help. The fact that both of these companies had actual humans that emailed me back right away, impressive. Like, I'm so impressed. And when I was looking at partners for my writing life and what I wanted to do, I am so glad that I found these as the companies that I want to work with. Because there's a lot of companies out there and not everyone is the company for you. And so these companies have some real good longevity, and I'm excited to continue on with them. So however you enjoy books, you always have a home here. Thank you for listening to the episode this week. And if you've enjoyed the episode, please consider leaving us a review, again, so other listeners can discover the podcast and maybe find some helpful hints as well. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks.